and then we end up finding out that Tesla might be getting 400 billion for armored cars, or we find out
they're not doing that,
or they might, or that they might be using Starlink.
Oh well, that's
instead of
what
you know
else?
what I mean? Like,
look, I think
you don't think that
they're not going to like it anytime Musk gets paid by the U.S. government because he's working so closely with Trump.
Yeah, but it's conflict of interest. It seems it's so simplistic that you shouldn't be doing that.
What's the other system though? Like Starlink is the only thing of its kind. Like it's there's no like Pepsi Cola to go with. You know what I mean? Like there's
Verizon had.
You don't think there's something wrong with the guy in charge of the budget making money from the budget?
Well, he's not in charge of the budget. He has no.
He's in charge of cutting the budget. You don't think that there's a conflict of interest of what he's doing
in charge of
versus
finding
what you
waste
can make?
and presenting that to the president of the United States that we elected?
Just
like all the other people that work for him.
I'm sorry.
He's not running it by Trump. The guy's got.
He's not running it by Trump.
He's not running anything by Trump.
No, Trump is
Trump is sleeping during the press conferences, bro.
So you think that Musk finds the waste and then he goes and writes an executive order to stop it himself? Like obviously,
you think there's an executive order for these things? That's what you're saying. You're saying that Trump is signing an executive order to cut Sesame Street. That's what you're saying?
I don't know how.
Well, you made it up. I think. Like I really think he can literally tweet this
They're
shit
often
and
based
tell people
on
not to go to work the next day. I've seen it on Twitter, right?
There's no procedure happening here.
Autonomy.
Yeah, there's no procedure happening here. I
don't understand what you're suggesting is happening. You're making it sound like Elon Musk is writing laws and implementing them and cutting and altering our budget.
Decisions without laws.
What decision is he making?
What to cut and what to fund. That's a huge conflict of interest.
There's no way. No,
you're telling me Donald Trump signed an executive order to send the Ebola employees home? No, it's done willy-nilly.
Whoever sent the Ebola employees home, it wasn't Musk. He didn't order them home. It wasn't his. It wasn't.
But it's under his watch. It's his people doing it.
Yeah,
it's his organization doing it.
Yes, it is. Thankfully,
so it is Musk.
That's like saying the Secretary of State is working autonomously, or the Secretary of Defense.
Because they follow there's a judicial. That's why you have 3 separate forms of government to watch over the other. You have the judicial.
I know how our government system works. It's our system.
Okay,
what I'm saying to you is the president is perfectly within his power to hire someone to go to work for him. You make it sound like the president needs to be in there hacking through, like running through code.
No. I think he's saying that the president has no idea what's being.
As if the president has to have complete control and he has to have his hand in every pocket.
You're making it sound that way.
He said that Elon's doing it without the president.
And you're like, no, the president is signing executive orders, making sure that like the checks and balances on everything Elon does. I'm like, no, I think Elon's working with a lot of autonomy. A word I don't know.
Autonomy.
I don't think that anything is happening. I don't think any changes are happening without Trump's okay. And if you watch did you watch the meeting yesterday?
The cabinet meeting thing
where Elon spoke the whole time and Trump was sleeping?
Up there. He's like, Trump's the boss. What Trump says is what I do. I work for the president. And then you laugh at that. He's like, oh, he's lying when he says that. He's really in charge. Who's in charge?
I wasn't laughing.
I was laughing because I don't think Trump.
Why would you think that? You didn't laugh.
I don't think Trump has any inkling of what Elon's doing.
Okay. Well, you've probably got more insight than I do on the issue, but
I don't think it's a matter of insight. It's more of a matter of I don't think that Trump is signing off on what Elon is doing. I think Elon's just doing stuff and sending out emails and give us 5 points or you're fired. And Trump.
Oh, I love that.
But no one's doing it. Well, even the new head of the FBI told his people to ignore that nonsense.
Well, yeah,
the guy Trump just appointed,
and they fired a bunch of.
And the reason you can ignore it is because he doesn't have any real power, right?
Well, but yet people are being sent home in other departments. So
yeah, they asked for a list of all the people who didn't reply. So apparently,
not everybody's standing up to Elon.
We need that list. We need to look into that list and see how many of them are alive.
Yeah, I don't see what's wrong with like asking IRS agents to be like, "Hey, what are you working on?" Because like we all just admit, like we all know, there's a huge amount of bloat and waste. Like we fund this. Like every government employee who's sitting there on their ass doing nothing all day. Like
this is what we're talking about with the left. You say, oh, the left likes finding the waste. I love that, but they don't. They don't like who's looking for it. That's the problem.
I don't think either side likes finding it.
Yeah, I agree with what Kyle said.
They like waste more than they like the guy who's looking for it. They'd rather have their money wasted than have Elon be proven right.
Like, for example, they got rid of basically every probational employee, I think. You know, there were 6,700 IRS employees that got fired for being probational. And I'm like, man, that's like firing your sales force. That's where the money comes in. Every dollar you spend on the IRS brings $3 in. Why did they get rid of all the probational IRS employees? It feels like they're hacking and slashing without enough thought involved.
I like that though, because I think it's the only way they're going to get to the bottom. I think that when you're looking for a blown fuse, you turn everything off and see what lights up. You know what I mean? Like I think that by turning vast areas off, cutting vast areas, sending bunches of people home, the things that actually matter are going to pop up and get attention and get money sent to them. And the things that didn't matter so much, the people that turned out not to be real, they won't speak up because they're not real, and their places those money are being spent aren't worthwhile.
I do think there's a lot of employees who don't work very hard in the government.
I agree with that totally.
I've had friends that work there, and that's what they tell me. Yeah, it's worse than the private sector.
We've all heard the government jobs are a joke
of asking the government to be leaner and meaner.
Yes.
I just don't think Elon is looking carefully enough to get the right people. Things like send me an email or you're fired. Like, that's reminiscent to, has anyone else had a really bad boss before?
Yes.
You know, like a boss that makes you feel like you're about to lose your job for bad reasons.
Yep.
Like, that's what Elon.
That's what I want for government employees, though. They work for us.
Have a boss that accurately measures the workforce and gets rid of the underperformers than one who sent like, hey, let's base it on this 5 bullet point email.
Yeah, like you want to qualify people judging whether or not these jobs are effective or not. And like I said, the more trim, the better. The less government, the better I feel. But it has to be done reasonably and by people who know what they're doing.
I think if Elon's good at anything, it's this. I don't think he's an engineer. I don't think he's necessarily a genius. I don't think he's a rocket scientist or a financial expert. But I think he's pretty good at trimming the fat. I think he's done that a lot, and I think he's really good at creating a workforce that is that type A personality, that go. Family is second, work is first. And you don't have to convince them of that. They're not going to post some mean text you sent them on Reddit and look how mean my boss was on anti-work. They're going to be like, yeah, of course, I'm already here. What are you talking about? Come in early. I spent the night in the office. I'm on my fold out. Like that seems to be
some truth to that. I think Elon
if anything, like
I wouldn't want to work with him. None of us would work for him. Fuck him. He's a piece of shit. But I want him to like be my whipmaster when my government fucking employees are going to work. I want him to be the one ask, what'd you do last week? Name me 5 things you accomplished. Tell me. Write me a little story about it. Like, yeah, bully them. I don't fucking care. Those government fucking employees. Like they work for us, and they might not need to. They get all of those benefits.
I think we all agree with you on that point.
Security.
Yeah.
I think everyone agrees with you on that point totally. Yeah. But again, it's
to have anyone doing it is better than the history we have of no one at all doing it and just letting this grow into a massive bloat monster with like no KPIs at all. Like no
KPI. What is KPI?
It's just like it's like metrics through which you can determine the success of a job. So like someone who's sitting on their
like
ass,
a return on investment per employee kind of
thing. So like someone sitting on their ass at the DMV in the back, there's no metric by which to determine they're successful. And so if they get fired, they're going to go, I'm being attacked here. And it's like, no, actually you haven't been doing anything. Like no one's checking on you.
So this is what Cisco did. They made their managers fire 10% of their staff every quarter. Right. I thought that was fucking ruthless. Right. That's 40% of your staff a year. Not every manager really did it. Sometimes some of them would work to protect their staff. They said they like the people they have. But what if they did that for a while? You know, hey, 10% of your staff gets cut. And then instead of Elon from 10,000 feet, 30,000 feet in the air, making guesses at who's good and bad, using shitty fucking incompetent metrics like who replied to an email, having their manager pick out their least effective employees.
I see I do see the 30,000 feet thing about the email, but like if Jeff Bezos sent that out at Amazon, like you bet your ass every employee who's actually working is responding. Like the only people who are going to ignore that at Amazon are people who are
there's people who
really
might be
working.
away, people who have more emails, people who are on vacation. Like
I want to see them go through the
very
Pentagon.
good metric.
That was sent out like a Saturday, wasn't it?
I don't know. And then like Trump said, oh, we asked someone what they do, and if they stutter, they get fired. And I'm like, there's a good way to evaluate your tech staff. You know, like in IT, you're going to lose your whole fucking IT.
Yeah, because they don't know how to deal with people, right?
Now you talk about something that I can agree with you the left a little bit on. I saw these. They're getting rid of all the trans people in the military, and from what I understand, our trans cat boys are leading the world with that drone technology. When you go into one of those rooms, really? I think those are the hackers and the network security guys and those.
You think they're the ones with the
operators.
Xbox controllers flying
those
around?
Are the guys that look. They're blowing up Hajis during the day, and at night they're putting their foxtail butt plugs in, and they're having a good time. I saw
effective strategy.
But what's interesting though, there's always an addendum, which I think is smart from him. It's never a closed door. It's I don't know. It's putting a guy by the door. He said all of them have to leave the military, et cetera. But they're not going to hunt them down or identify them necessarily. And they also added this thing at the end. It's like, also, if we really need you, we'll just keep you, basically, in other language. And they were like, if you've got a General Catboy, you don't have a damn thing to worry about.
Sergeant at ease. And he starts licking his hand.
It's like, I love the concept. I hate the incompetence behind the firing. And to Taylor's point, I do get where he's coming from. Hey, I'd rather have someone incompetently try to trim the fat than no one at all. You know, and I see that. I get that. I just want better. You know, the security thing, right? The Republicans went fucking bonkers when Hillary used a private email server. But they take all taxpayer information and put it on Musk's private server, and they don't have a problem with it at all.
They put it on his private server.
I think so, yeah. I read it.
I'm
only as good as my sources. They copied it and put it on his server. Yeah.
And who's even regulating
about it? Only
I would love to see some proof of that. What I read was that he has no more access than college interns, which there are many that are working with the government, and there are lots of those guys who have the same sort of, they called it read-only. I don't know anything about anything, but read-only sounds to me like you can only read the data, you can't alter or
copy it or take it out or anything.
Or execute it.
So that sounds to me like the exact amount of access that you'd want to give Elon Musk so that he can read it and find any waste. And then again, report back to the president, since he has read-only access and he has no power to change or access anything. I
don't see anything about
sense to me.
Yeah, I don't see anything at all about Elon having access on a private server to any IRS information. It looks like he wants DOGE to have access to IRS taxpayer data for attempts to unroot fraud.
Zach has a paragraph here that says it's all on a government server.
Yeah.
They brought in their own servers and made copies, I read. I don't know. Keep getting stuck behind paywalls. I can't find it in seconds. But
this is just from ABC. It doesn't. I control F server.
Well, again, I don't quite grasp.
Looks like he's just asking
security.
for access.
I don't grasp the security risk, I suppose, of that being true. Even,
dude, I don't want the government knowing my social security number.
Right? Tell him, Taylor.
That's between me and God.
And the men's warehouse.
That's between me and God and my Quick Trip credit card.